welcome and thank you for joining us on today's live broadcast. I am Dawn Divine and I'm here to bring us to being abreast concerning these situations that have been going on around Nigeria currently. Well, we have reports of a breaking news that the Dana air crash, right? Crash landed in Lagos State, but this is a very developing story, right? And then no casualties have been reported, but we thank God for the lives of the people who were aboard that particular Dana Air Chinese restaurant that actually was locked down by the FCC PC because they stormed there and they said they were being discriminative towards Nigerians. And recently the workers said that the owner of the supermarket, who happened to be a Chinese lady in the person of Cindy Louis Bay, fled on Monday morning with her family, and it was confirmed with evidences and footages gotten from the closed circuit television camera. And it's just particularly sad because the reports had earlier showed that FCC PC officials shut the supermarket over perceived discrimination against Nigerians. Earlier on Sunday, we had expressed our outrage over a discriminatory policies implemented by the Chinese supermarket, which restricted entry exclusively to its citizens and barred Nigerians, not minding the fact that they are situated in Nigeria. The facility manager of the complex, Shaibu Sanusi, confirmed that Nigerians from outside the complex did not shop, but Nigerians within could access it. Well, it is with this that the supermarkets remain shut, and the Consumer Protection Agency is of the belief that some people are hiding inside this particular supermarket in a bid to avoid confrontation with the agency, because this particular video had brought different kind of public outcry over the fact that even though this supermarket, this establishment is situated in Nigeria, we have Nigerians being restricted from getting access to this place. And so in the light of this new occurrences, that's where we heard that these people or the owner of the supermarket has managed to escape. We don't know how true that is. It's possibly propaganda or not, but that is reports being made available to us. And then we called on the FCC PC, and they actually came out to say, you know what, this is against the laws of the land, and this is not fair to say that you're being discriminatory against Nigerians, even though we're the ones playing host to the supermarket. And so it is just really interesting because the Abuja supermarket is not really the only business currently in Nigeria, or the only foreign-owned business in Nigeria that is practicing discrimination against Nigerians. Discriminations were also reported in Lagos, right, in a school in Lagos. And while reacting to this post on X, with the username Deji Adeshogan on Sunday, wrote that the Indian school in Ilupeju only admits Indians, saying that you need an Indian passport for enrollment. Well, a report made available by the Punch correspondent said that my experience with the Indian International School in Ilupeju dates back to when my school had. He said, I discovered that there were only Indian students, and I was curious as to why, because my school was also an international school and run by a foreign embassy with primarily expatriate kids and few Nigerians. Then I was informed that their passport was a prerequisite for admission. Punch correspondent therefore visited the Indian language school in Lupeju, located in Lagos, to investigate this claim. And the correspondent who visited the school on Monday reported that several Indians and their kids were seen entering and leaving this brown building opposite Right Price supermarket in Akinteye Drive in Ilupeju. He said it was flooded by Indians, and many of them live on the streets as they were seen buying items freely at shops, malls and stands operated by Nigerians, which is particularly interesting. Well, these correspondents proceeded to move to the main building, and approaching the entrance, he observed that at the security post, about 3 guardmen were seen, one with a uniform, and the other one was probably a septuagenarian, meaning somebody that is around 70, an old man particularly, who was putting on a native attire. And then there were Nigerian security men from their dress and conversation. But I think it's particularly interesting that we have these people working for these states, right, or rather working for this establishment. We have the security people, they are non-academic staff being Nigerians, but you limit the amount of people or the amount of Nigerians, or the you're limited to the choices of people you can enroll, and so you cannot have Nigerian staff. It is very, I think it's very condescending, particularly because you don't mind having a Nigerian security guard, a Nigerian, caretaker, or, caregiver, but you draw the line in having Nigerian kids admitted in your school. So I think it's particularly disgusting, and it shows, a level of condescension when it comes to Nigeria, because you are in our country, for crying out loud. The least you can do is to offer, offer services to everybody related, everybody in that particular sphere. And so it is just really interesting, because even the correspondent actually had tried to reach out to them, and then while he got there, he was not allowed to enter inside, right? He said he was trying to make inquiries for his uncle who had 2 kids and would like to enroll them in this school. But the first question they asked him by one of the security men was that, is your uncle an Indian man? And the correspondent answered in the affirmative, so as to give room for further discussions, as reports showed that at similar foreign establishments, Nigerians were barred even from the point of entry. So he was trying to avoid the situation where they wouldn't let him in. So for a minute he admitted that he had an imaginary fake Indian uncle who was planning to just enroll their kids. And even though they're trying to be different, we can see that the approach is still similar. When they even quizzed if Nigerians were allowed to school there, one of them said it was possible only if the child was born to an Indian national. And a worker in a supermarket opposite the school, who spoke on condition of anonymity for fear of being reprimanded by the school authorities, confirmed that the school was mainly for Indians. And when he was asked, she actually said that yes, it is meant for just Indians. Basically, if you don't have an Indian passport, you are not allowed to attend the school, even though it's located in Nigeria here. And so the Abuja supermarket is not particularly the only foreign-owned establishments here in Nigeria. I'm very certain that if we keep doing different dives and different investigations into this, we'll get to see that a lot of foreign businesses in Nigeria are particularly being biased towards Nigerians, and for no reason. Because if you, for anything, have a bone to pick with Nigerians, or you don't want Nigerians in your establishments, by all means, maybe you should move the school to somewhere, probably your home base, because it is particularly triggering to say, oh, I'd like to have my reward in this school, and then you say no, that we're not allowing Nigerians here, just so based on information available to the school website, right, the institution was established in 1982 as a private school under the umbrella of the High Commission of India. The school is affiliated with the Central Board of Secondary Education, New Delhi, and has classes from Bhavatika 1 to Bhavatika 9, or rather 12. I think that is the Indian name for calling classes, right? And so the correspondent also sent a text and made calls to phone numbers on the school website, and also sent a message to an email address, but there was no response as at the time of filing this report. And even the spokesperson for the Indian High Commission in Nigeria, Vipul Messaria, when contacted, asked the Punch correspondent to send in an email, and he was yet to respond, even as at the time of this report. And I just think these are just things that are really, really interesting to see in our country, because even though we play host to this group of people, they think it's okay to actually go around and then just make establishments or build establishments in our country, and not even allow this their business to cater to Nigerians. And so the Abuja based supermarket is not just the only quote unquote foreign-owned establishment that's being discriminatory towards Nigerians. And I want the FCCPC, right, as they've gone in a good way to lock up the Chinese supermarkets, they actually need to proceed to do in-depth investigation as to why there are foreign businesses in Nigeria that are being derogatory, or rather being discriminatory towards Nigerians. Anyways, moving on, we have the situation with Yahaya Bello and the drama that's been unfolding, and it has been a very interesting couple of weeks, right? We've seen all that has been going on, even when Yahaya Bello had actually done everything possible to evade arrest with the help of the new Kogi State governor in the person of Ododo, right? So we've seen these are really, really interesting times for him, because he has been running, him and EFCC, they've been playing the cat and mouse game, and if you chase me here, I chase you there. That's basically what they've been doing. And recently we even had reports that he had mobilized groups, right, planning to print banners and all of that ahead of a protest they plan to stage against EFCC. And I think it's really laughable because, I mean, if you have issues, the EFCC has not particularly labeled you a thief. They accused you of something. It is left to the court of law to actually, say or whether or not you're guilty. But to be running and planning all this propaganda, doing everything, but actually going to answer to their query is just showing some level of admittance of guilt. Because if someone has called you or accused you for anything, be civil, be noble, just answer to them and then go and clear your name if you're certain that you have nothing to hide. But this whole charade is coming up, making sure he's not arrested, printing banners. He's that's a wild goose chase. He's playing to the gallery. He should basically just answer to the EFCC and then allow this whole drama that is going on in the media to stop, because now they went from chasing you down to your residence in Abuja to actually declaring you wanted, and you did somebody that is a presidential aspirant at some point, right? And so if you still plan to have some form of political shelf life after all of this, then you need to be very, very responsible about this. And so we just know that a lot of drama has been happening, and kudos to Aded, because she actually put together in a very beautiful way my thoughts on this, and it is very, very comical too, because she has a way of being very sarcastic about things. And so particularly, let's just hear what she has to say, and then we'll come back. Credits to Aded Fire Home.
My people, it is happening. It is happening. I've been telling you guys that Uncle Duno is what a prophet. Some of you did not believe. He told us a long time ago what would happen.
Do you know? Yaya Bello ma ṣẹ̀wọ̀n lẹ́yìn ìjọba. I know. Yaya Bello ma ṣẹ̀wọ̀n lẹ́yìn ìjọba.
You see?
Do you know? GYB ma ṣẹ̀wọ̀n lẹ́yìn ìjọba.
That's enough.
We know. GYB.
I said that is enough. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, it was a very beautiful morning when EFCC besieged the home of my uncle. Oh, Uncle Badaya Bello. Oh, Kunjari, in case you are watching, to arrest him for allegedly stealing 80 billion naira from his own people, the people of Kogi. I said, 80 billion. The devil is a liar. I thought the man is a Musulumi Ododo, a truthful Muslim somebody. What happened? First of all, let me thank the EFCC, their chairman. Oh, he must have seen our last video. The man of God, Pastor Olanipeku Olukoyede. Daddy, move closer. You see, this is the kind of cases that we were expecting. High-profile cases, you're that for you, my father. Now, let me defend my uncle Bodaya, because if I don't defend him, who will? Can you imagine the disrespect? First of all, EFCC declared my uncle wanted as in a whole presidential aspirant. Do they not know? Oh, actually, this makes me so happy. I can't even hide it. Sorry. Let me go back to defending my uncle. Can you imagine the disrespect? Basically saying that my uncle is a common criminal. Actually, this one is a Ubunge criminal. Yes, a big criminal. By the way, before I tell you about all the drama that took place outside Badaya's house, you need to see Kogi people online. They've started telling us all the bad things that Governor Yaya Bello, the youngest governor ever in Nigeria. For the 8 years that he was governor, he was owing worker salary. We talked about that several times on this show. Some people were not paid for up to 30 months, my people. 30 months of unpaid salary. And they were working. Look at that that is wickedness. Do you know how many people died because of that? People that could not afford hospital bills because they had not been paid for years. But you are a wicked somebody. In fact, you are more than witchcraft. Don't worry, I'm still defending you. He also destroyed roads that he did not build. Remember, we talked about that during the election, and he was trying to prevent Senator Natasha Akpoti from winning by fire by force. He still did not fix those roads. So, but your sins are many. Don't worry, I'm defending you. During his time, people said hospitals were dilapidated. I remember during COVID. The representatives were the federal government that went to Kogi. Those ones got there and the governor did not believe that COVID was real. Come and see drama. Pensioners were crying in Kogi the entire time that Yaya Bello was their governor. Now, on top of that, to add salt to injury, that is to say, on top of all that, he has the liver. He has the liver to steal 80 billion naira. Why are Are you not afraid? Ibogon lefitoluwasi. Where is the fear of God? Hey, Ojuolere. Oh, ah. And this man wanted to be president. My people, where is thunder when you need it? Thunder is a very slow something in Nigeria. Now you can see why people are happy to see Efcc go into his house. In fact, civil servants in Kogi right now. Let me show you what they are doing.
What shall I say unto the Lord?
Yes, Lord.
All I have to say,
Thank you, Lord.
thank you, Lord.
Thank you,
Thank you. Oh, only for drama to start when the FCC got to his gate in Abuja. You will not believe it. It's but my uncle, the white lion, the white lion. The man locked himself inside the room. He shocked me. Do you remember how he's been lifting weights? Preparing to take down his enemies. It was a very serious something. That's enough. What's your problem? Why are you showing his big stomach? Oh God, you want people to think he was doing that just for show? Because how can you be walking out like that and still have big tummy? Anyways, mind yourself, enemy of progress. So I thought that he would go out there after he's been lifting weight. I thought he would go outside and scatter the ground like EFCC. Who are you looking for? I am the white lion. Nah, lie. The man refused to come out of his closet.
The former governor remains locked inside his residence.
I said, Haba, Uncle Yaya, this is where I am having a problem. Because as your girl, how can I defend you? If you do not defend yourself, you know what I'm saying? If you know that you are not guilty, but Yaya, all you need to do is go outside and present yourself. Get yourself some lawyers. Plead not guilty. Say, I am innocent. Because when somebody is innocent, they are not afraid of anybody. Uncle did not do any of that. So the man is hiding inside the closet. I have insiders in his house. Telling me he's not even hiding in the parlor, and he's not just in the bedroom. They said he's hiding inside the closet. There's an inner closet. Remember that? No, I don't have anybody in his house. Now to our shock, only for his friends and supporters, including his thugs, to start showing up to show solidarity for Okumboda.
Moments later, more supporters and loyalists to Yahaya Bello arrive in show of solidarity.
Can you imagine? EFCC, what did they think this is? Reminds me of when they were trying to arrest Bukola Saraki of Ilorin. Then Uncle Dino was one of them. That time, the people that were going to show solidarity for Bukola Saraki. In fact, even the Iyalojas, they all came to render song, in support of Uncle Bukola. They still arrested him. We got his picture. He was still docked. So even though nothing came out of it. And then imagine our shock when the new governor of Kogi showed up to also show support. Nonsense. He came to support his godfather. He rigged the election. Yayabelo rigged the election in Kogi to put in somebody that he can control, a figurehead governor. Hopefully they pick up both of them. What nonsense. More importantly, his supporters want us to know that this whole thing is nothing but witch hunt.
It's clear already that the whole thing is politically motivated as it is now. You can see it. Every normal human being can interpret what is happening now.
Wow. Clap for yourself. Clap for yourself. Now, as far as I'm concerned, EFCC is just wasting time. Benny, if you want to arrest the man, arrest him already. Whatever you need to do Ojare. If it is a common somebody now, you will break their door. You will go inside by fire, by force. You will arrest them. Whatever you need to do. Although we all know that nothing will come out of it. No offense, but going by record, the more you steal in Nigeria, the more you get away with. They may tell him to return 15 million naira tomorrow, and then that will be the end of the case. Somebody that stole almost 100 billion. billion. As in the meantime though, my people, you know, since I'm here to defend Badaya anyway, I think let us pray for my uncle, because you guys know your girl. I've been on the mountain for the past 7 days, you know, praying for my uncle. I have not eaten anything except eggs and turkey, and you know, I have not eaten anything besides that, because I've been praying for my uncle. And I think you guys should join me. Let us pray for Uncle Bodayaya as he's facing jail time. Are you alright? Yeah, call it all. Exactly what is your problem? What do you think? You think Yaya will swim? I think he will swim. I think he should swim, even if it's just for 6 months. If Maburiski can't swim, Yaya Bello must do what? He must have jail time.
Particularly interesting for Madiola. She has a very comical way of actually saying the truth, and I resonate with her a lot, because I mean, if it was a commoner by now, would have seen EFCC doing different things, flying fences, in all in a bid to actually get to the person they are looking for. After all, we saw when they were trying to arrest Rocha Sokorocha, they went through the ceiling. And so I'm just, you know, curious, because why are they not employing all these tactics that they are usually they usually have up their sleeve to actually arrest Yaya Bello, right? And so it's really interesting. Propaganda left, right, and center. We can see everything that's been going on, but I actually hope that for a change, we actually get something out of this case, because that was how they tried to prosecute Bukola Saraki, and we didn't get any headway. At the end of the day, it just becomes, you know, just a couple of months of drama, going to court, wasting taxpayers' money for a useless judicial process that would not yield any fruit, and then at the end of the day, they just swipe everything under the carpet. So I just hope for a change, that we get to see something different, because 80 billion naira is no joke. And EFCC, as they've taken up this step, right, they said one good turn deserves another. They need to actually up their game and start going for, you know, high profile cases of theft and cases of misappropriation of public funds. We need to leave the people that are spraying dollars and spraying naira in parties, and actually focus on the people who are stealing the commonwealth of our nation. And with that, we've come to the end of this live broadcast, and it is so good to have you. Please don't forget, if you're still on this live, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and, you know, drop a thumbs up to this video. That's the way we could amplify our voices, so other people and well-meaning Nigerians could know that the Obidient Family TV is live currently. Well, before I leave the studio, it is necessary that I mention the Obidient Family Cooperative. It is the gospel that we've been preaching, that His Excellency P2B has been preaching from consumption to production. It is really important that we invest in this grassroots mobilization and this structure. Whenever politicians talk about structure here, putting on structure, it's talking about going to connect with people from the roots, because that is how the real change can come about. We don't want to have any kind of superficial change that just happens on the peripheral. We need to be able to sink our roots deeper and deeper into the structural places, into people, so we're able to redefine our options against 2027. And so the Obedience Family Cooperative is here for this particular purpose. Aside moving from consumption to production, is also a way for us to network and to also, you know, build this structure against 2027. So we have different registrations all over different local governments in the country. People are coming out to pioneer, to say, okay, you know what, I want to be a part of this history making event where people are actually sowing into their future, because it's necessary that we sow into our future. So if you want to be part of this, don't forget to click the link that's going to be in the description of this video and join the WhatsApp platform, where you can converse with fellow obedient and well-meaning Nigerians, so as to discover and decide how to move the country forward. Till I come your way next time, bye for now.
When you have a situation where there is a concerted effort to stigmatize an ethnic nationality and blame them for everything that goes wrong, and that ethnic nationality in response now say, okay, you know what, so that they will not say that it is we who are causing problem, please stay out of any wahala that is being orchestrated. I can't blame them. If the Igbo man is saying, I don't have any problem with Tinubu, I'm not part of any protest against the government, I can't blame them for saying that. I grew up in an era where whenever there was any problem, the first thing people did was to loot. And who are the people who lost when shops and markets were looted or burnt? It was the Igbo, because those are the merchant, that's the merchant class in Nigeria. Long time ago, when Nigeria had not become the evil forest that it is today, it was just in its infancy at that time. The Igbo man learned that the government has nothing for him. So he learned to survive on his own. You will rarely ever find an Igbo man applying to the civil service or looking for salary job. So the average one, even the ones I went to university with, they will go and attach themselves to somebody in the market. They will learn a trade. So they learned to do without government. They learned to discount the government completely, which means that the Igbo man is better equipped than any other Nigerian to cope with our current circumstances, where the government has become completely useless. The Igbo man was already prepared for the uselessness of the government. So now that he is prepared for it, and everybody else have now decided to stigmatize the Igbo man, I can't blame the Igbo man for turning around and saying, it's none of my business, oh, enjoy your government. He didn't enjoy anything from the government before. So for somebody, and I'm talking about the average Igbo man who is like me and you. I'm not talking about the Ojius or Kalus of this world or the Okorochas of this world who have always fed on the grievances of Ndi Igbo and made money by appeasement of government and then presuming to speak on behalf of. I'm not speaking to those ones. I'm speaking for the average man on the street who grew up believing that he has no portion in Nigeria, which was what fed the Biafran spirit and the demand for Biafra even 50 years after the Civil War. So I'm not speaking to the man on the street of Alaigbo. I'm not speaking to the trader in Alaba or at Aspanda or at Ladipo. All those ones, they have always lived with the mentality of being victims of the system. So when a victim of the system is telling you, leave me out of your protest, go and deal, because it wasn't gaining anything from the system in the first place. So if he wasn't gaining anything from the system in the first place, he has nothing to lose if the situation becomes, the only thing that is happening now is that more victims are being recruited into the Nigerian mess. So why should he, who was always a victim, further victimize himself by joining those he believes are responsible for his victimhood? Unfortunately, it only assures the victimization of everybody. But it is now incumbent on those of us who know better to help him to understand that, yes, we understand that was yesterday. But for us to all come out of this together, you would have to move away from that pain to now walk. Now at least everybody is now suffering. Yorubas will say that it means that until suffering is democratized, it is not possible to end it. The suffering in Nigeria has now been democratized. Long ago, I predicted that the Nigerian revolution will start in northern Nigeria. The only reason I said so at the time is because the North had always been the reason we could not find common purpose to fight the evil. But now that the person in power in the presidency is not a northerner, and is at best a nominal Muslim, and the suffering has now been fully democratized, the northern street, I'm not talking about the northern elite, the northern street has no interest in forbearing and continuing to suffer. Why is it that all of a sudden everything that they tolerated during the years of Muhammadu Buhari is no longer tolerable? Have you considered that? Look, I don't know how long it's going to take. But if this mess continues, the problem that will consume this government will start in northern Nigeria. It's not going to start in the east. The Igbo man has more or less taken a position. I was always a victim. Go and solve your problem. Leave me alone in my little corner. If you lie, steal all the money in the world. You still take that money to a market to go and buy something. And who will you find in the market when you get there? You find the Igbo man there. Whether it's food you are buying, whether it's building material, whether it's car, you find the Igbo man is there in the market waiting for you. So he's already in a position of advantage. So why would he disadvantage himself unless you people show him a readiness for change? So that is where we are right now. It might seem like nothing is going to happen, but something will definitely happen. This system is not sustainable.